Lovely. Great. So hello, Julie. Thank you so much for joining me today on the Louise M Empowerment series.
You're welcome, Louise. It's a pleasure.
Well, Julie, I'm really intrigued to know how our childhoods affected and our feeling of empowerment as an adult, whether it did or didn't. So firstly, what does empowerment mean to you? What's your definition of empowerment?
It's an interesting question because, as we were discussing before, yes, all the work I do is all about empowering women, and really empowerment is about feeling confident, and to feel confident, you have to feel like you have your act together. That, whether it's your physical self and your emotional self, that everything is aligned, and that means that you don't have to worry about anything else because you know exactly what it is you're doing and how you're going to go about doing it. So, and that spreads across your whole life, really. It's across your personal life, and it's also across your professional life as well. So what I try and do is give women that feeling of empowerment, that they can accomplish anything.
Fantastic. I mean, it's such a gift. So let's delve into your childhood and whether, tell me, did you have any siblings, and were you the eldest or the youngest? And do you think that had an effect on how you felt as a child, whether your parents encouraged you to go and achieve things, do things, yes, you can do, Julie, or, was it someone else in your childhood that encouraged you, or was there no one?
So as a child, Louise, you might find this hard to believe, but I was really, really shy. I am the middle of three girls. And so my elder sister, when I was very young, took it upon herself to speak for me, act for me, do for me. And so I retreated. I became very shy, very reserved, very timid. Didn't want to go anywhere without, be left at kindergarten on my own or anything like that. I was a bit of a basket case, actually, as a child. It took me a long time to sort of grow out of that and develop some sort of identity. That didn't happen until I went to secondary school. I went to a private girls' grammar school. And that's probably where I started to get some sort of sense of independence and identity with, who I was. And yeah,
So did your mum realise that your older sister was doing that? And
absolutely, she did, and she used to tell her off all the time.
Okay.
To let me speak for myself, do for myself, etc.
But by that stage, you probably had lost your confidence to speak for yourself.
Look, I don't know what it was, to be honest with you, but I do. Look, I can still remember moments of my childhood where I was just, paranoid at being left on my own, and found it very hard to assimilate into new circles or new groups of people. So when I changed school, when I was in grade 4, and I went to my new school, and we also moved house as well into a whole new suburb. So I was just beside myself with fear, to being in a new school, being in a new suburb, having no friends. It was really, really challenging for me.
Was anyone helping you through that process, or was it like, well, Julie, just get on with it? And
Pretty much, yeah. We weren't sort of, it was a different time back then. I don't know what your parents were like, but yeah, we were pretty much, come on, there's nothing wrong with off you go, get on with it, sort of thing. I came from an entrepreneurial family. My father was, had his own business, and Mum grew up in the war, so she was the last child of a larger family. All her siblings had gone to war. She was left at home to basically do all of the house chores and everything else. So she became very self-sufficient, and I guess they just expected us to be the same. We're in a different era now, whereas, I certainly didn't do that to my kids.
Yeah. So what changed when you went to school, high school? What was it at school that changed it for you?
Well, I think, we were given more attention. It was all girls, so you didn't have that pressure of having the boys around you as well, particularly going through that age period of, as we do, adolescence. Um, so yeah, it was just easier for me to settle in and be myself. I made some friends, and I was very good at sport, so I was always out on the tennis court or on the softball field or playing netball. So that helped a lot because I was really, really very good at all sport.
And you said your dad was very entrepreneurial.
Mm.
So did you notice that at the time? And do you
Yeah, very
feel
much
you
so.
may have something remaining in you from your dad's
Yeah,
experiences?
I do. Dad was a legend, actually. The business started with my grandfather. He started off a corner disposal store selling shovels to the diggers in the war. And Dad started working there when he was 14 and worked his way up through the company. He had to work his way up. He wasn't given a ride.
Mhm.
And when he took over as managing director, there were two other partners. And he gradually expanded the business. It became the biggest hardware, plumbing, building supply company in Victoria. In fact, it was the first store that Bunnings essentially took over when
Wow.
he sold out and retired. So it was quite big. And I used to work there through my school holidays as
Right.
well in
Yeah.
various menial jobs, but I wasn't given liberties, I can tell you. We had
Yeah,
to.
but you learned that success is hard work,
Oh, yes,
really, through hard
totally,
work.
totally.
Mhm.
Yeah, absolutely. So that's just what we grew up with.
Yeah,
We
but yeah, it's
love.
interesting because you had the influence of your sister that sort of said and did everything for you, but you
Mm.
did have your dad that was running this successful business and you were taking part in that at times. So you did get a little bit of a background of, um, I guess, some empowerment there, but maybe it was the men experiencing the empowerment and not yourself. Did you feel as though it was he going, "Oh, that's so good, Julie, you're doing such a good job," or did he ever make you feel as though you were actually really helping him as a child? Did you
Well,
feel?
I used to hang around my dad a lot. Um, from a very young age. In fact, I was almost the tomboy of the family. So I used to be the one going out with dad on the weekends, doing chores and things like that. And
Yeah,
so we were very close.
yeah.
So look, mum and dad together both gave us everything they could possibly give us to empower us, to give us a great education, um, anything they could provide for us. Like I was really good at sport. I also did a lot of horse riding, so they used to, drive me around to horse events and gymkhanas and pony club and
Mhm.
all those sorts of things. So
Yeah,
they
very supportive.
always did whatever they could to make us happy and to allow us to do what we wanted to do, which
Mm.
was amazing. I'm extremely grateful for that childhood experience.
Yeah. So as an
But at the
adult,
same
as you went
time,
in,
we knew our place, and we weren't well off by any. We were well off in lots of ways, but we weren't what I would call overly wealthy as a family. We knew how much things cost, and we were taught how to value things, not to just throw things away, which is very different to today's society as well. But
yeah,
um, yeah, it's a different era, I think, growing up in
yeah.
the 60s and 70s.
So going into adulthood and your business, of course, you've got a fantastic professional image consultant business, and particularly help women in executive roles
Mm.
to be their best.
Mhm.
Is that how you would describe what you do now?
Yes, I take the hassle out of them trying to work out what to wear, how to wear it, and when to wear it, basically. And look, a
Well,
lot of women go through transformational changes physically and mentally as they age, and that can sometimes be extremely frustrating and daunting and, just really scary for a lot of women because it is out of their control for a lot of women. So I, just help them manage that and take control of that so that they can look in the mirror and really love the reflection they see, which empowers them to a point where they can feel like they're invincible and they can go and do and focus on what it is that they do, which is really what they should be doing at the end of the day.
So how did you achieve that real sense? I mean, you've got a passion for sure, but you've actually got such a strong, I'm good at this. And so what steps did you take to bring yourself through that, to that point where you actually feel very empowered to empower others?
Yeah, good question. I grew into this, I think.
Mhm.
Invested in myself. At a point in my career, I decided that I needed to. I went through the corporate world and I started off in hospitality and worked for the airlines, and then went into the corporate market in a selling role. So I was at the forefront, and I had to stand up in boardrooms and present and be really confident. But it took me ages, Louise, to learn how to network properly, how to start conversations with people I didn't know. And I learned that skill also from my father because he was really, really good at that. He could talk to anyone, have a conversation with anyone. And I really, really enjoyed watching him do that at the times that I would have him out and about when he was getting quite, it was difficult for him to get out and about. So, but he used to love chatting to people. So I learned that skill from him. But I had to develop it and I had to invest in myself. So I, took the counsel from, I had some really great mentors over the years and business coaches that have helped me through all of those times where you feel like you're coming up against a roadblock, where you've got, what do they call them? Not preconceived ideas, but you have those blocks that just sort of stop you from moving forward.
Yes.
So, a lot of professional development I have spent on myself.
And education as well.
Education, yes, I've always self-educated and upskilled wherever I can, which I felt was a really important part of this whole journey for me, because with every little bit you do, that it upskills you and gives you more credibility and more on your list of things you've done. Yes, of course, it empowers you and it makes you feel more confident. And it's sort of like, yeah, I know that now and I can teach that now. But I think now at the age that I'm at, it's a really lovely space to be in. It's empowering to be the age I am because you have so many years of experience and trials and tribulations and hurdles that you've overcome and fears that you've had and overcome, and just life skills, and having had 2 children and raised them, gone through menopause, all of those things that women face. I've lost both my parents now. I've had my share of life's issues or experiences, so to speak. So, when you're talking to a woman who's in a very senior position in a CEO role, and I get it, like I just get it. And so you can have these really relaxed, meaningful conversations with them, and it relaxes them because they know you understand.
Yeah, because I was going to ask you that. What do you firstly do with your clients that come to you, and obviously they want some reassurance that they can look their best, perhaps.
Well, yes, because at the end of the day, we're all women. And that's what we don't ever lose sight of that. We're all women at the end of the day, and as women, we all secretly want to feel good about ourselves. We want to look good. We want to look the best we can. And it disappoints us when we don't. So
interesting.
And the most frustrating thing for women is when they lose control of that, where their body fails them, or whatever it is failing them, and they don't know how to fix it.
Yeah.
So
what do you love most when you actually work with your clients, I mean, you've got programs that they can do online, but you could also have one-on-one consultations with you. So is there, we were talking about physical and emotional empowerment and, you know, how empowerment makes us feel. Do you actually see their physical and emotional, the changes in them when you've gone through the
very
process?
much so. That's the most, that is what I love the most. Not that I want them to see them go through that pain, but it's what comes out the other side.
Yeah, I must admit, when a client puts on a pair of shoes and they realise that actually these shoes are going to change their life, it's actually that makes my heart sing as well.
But it's more about the aha moments that they have too, the things that they have been limiting beliefs. That's what I was trying to think of. It's when they've been holding on to a belief for so long about whatever it might be. It might be how you know, they think people see them, what they think other people see, what might be how they think other people think about them. You know, so when we unravel all that, because it's really important that we can unravel all that and really get down to the nitty-gritty about why their wardrobe is the way it is, why they feel the way they do, what's led them on that journey in terms of their wardrobe selections and everything else. When we really unravel all of that and say, oh, okay, fine, all right, so then we move forward to what they really want, then that's when you see the shift. That's when it's like an acceptance that it's okay. You know, I'm not going to judge you. I'm not going to say you should have done it this way, you should have done it that way. I'll only question them moving forward if they do something and I say, what were you thinking in doing that? If I've already educated them as to what to do.
They'll be looking over their shoulder all the time. Is Julie around?
I have some women that say, oh, I'm just never going shopping without you. It's just too hard.
I really love that because, you know, I've spoken to other women already on this series and, you know, we have come across the mentoring and the coaching and exercise and education and networking and yeah, the way you dress is another way that you can go on that journey and another thing you can add to making you feel empowered, helping you to achieve that your best self, that you feel empowered. So yeah, I really loved chatting to you about that, Julie, and thank you so much for joining me today in talking about that and sharing. You obviously have a real love for your family as well, which is really lovely. So
I do, yes. Family is everything at the end of the day.
Yeah.
And so are close friends as well. But yes, they, you know, that's what keeps you rock solid.
Beautiful. Well, on that note, now if some guests that are listening today would like to get in touch with you, what is the best way for them to do that?
Well, they can either contact me directly through LinkedIn, connect with me on LinkedIn, or they can go through the website, contact me through the website, which is juliehyneimagesstylist.com.au. I have a free webinar. They're very welcome to register for that and get loads of information and see some case studies of my clients and lots of tips and tricks in there as well, or they can book a call with me. So there's several ways they can get in touch with me. I'm very accessible.
Really lovely. Thanks, Julie. Thank you so much for your time today. It's been really valuable. So thank you so much. Speak to you soon.
Thanks, Louise.